Hey folks, welcome back to our Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at Black Rose Wars Rebirth. Rebirth is brought to you by Ludus Magnus Studio. It's for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, and games generally run about 90 minutes. Black Rose Wars Rebirth is a competitive fantasy game of deck building, strategy, and combat set in the hectic universe of Nova Aetas in Italy, and is the second chapter in the Black Rose Wars series. It's now 25 years later, after the last war. Mages are here in the lodge to re-establish order. Rooms are broken, and now it's time to rebuild them. The Black Rose is still there, and each player takes on the role of one of these powerful mages of the Black Rose Order, who aspire to become the new Supreme Magister in order to acquire the mighty power of the Black Rose artifact and the Forgotten Magic. These mages must fight, fulfill Black Rose desires, and gain strength with their spells until the power reaches the containment threshold. Each mage has at their disposal 6 different schools of magic, each with its own strategy to annihilate their opponents and increase their power. Mages fight each other in a modular arena of hexagons called rooms. You will summon powerful creatures, cast destructive spells, or devise dark deceptions with your enchantments. This version of the game is still divided into 6 different phases. Phases of the Black Rose, the study phase, the preparation phase, the action phase, which is really the heart of the game as you try to take out your fellow mages, and finally the evocation phase and the cleanup phase. Each turn after the events have been revealed, the players will choose new spells from the 6 schools of magic. You will then plan your strategy in advance, placing cards face down onto your player boards. Then these will be revealed as you try to annihilate each other, solve missions, summon creatures. After being killed, you are reborn immediately, allowing you to re-enter the fight without delay. Although your death will feed energy to those mages who caused it. Okay, so that's just a brief thematic look at the gameplay. If you want more detailed info, there's some really great videos out there. But here in this video, let's dive in and take a brief look at what's new in this version. So let's start with the main box. It is easier to open the original and it's beautifully designed, but inside you have all kinds of new trays for organization. I love organization in games, and what they've done here for the individual mages is that they have individual trays that pull out for easy setup, getting you into the game much quicker. Now, if you're wondering about the original game, yes, you can mix and match bits between them, but this is really a standalone. This is the next chapter in the series. Now let's take a look at these miniatures. Yes, you have all your new summoned creatures that you can use throughout the game, and what's really nice about these miniatures in this prototype is they're very, very close to the final, actually really close. So the detail here is phenomenal even in this prototype. Let me show you some close-ups. But I really like how miniatures in games just bring you that more immersiveness into a game. Yes, immersiveness, I said that. Now the thing is that they also have these bases, and if you remember about the original game, you had the little rose pips that you put on the base. Well, now they've got that eliminated, and you've got different bases that have 1, 2, and 3 roses for the base. So you can keep track of it that way, and just adds a nicer, less fiddly bits to the game for sure. But again, the detail on these miniatures is just simply phenomenal. And there are 6 new schools of magic. Yes, new decks of cards that you can tap into for all the different spells as you evoke these to destroy your opponents. Now, the thing here is that they've made them easier to track between the different types of schools. So you can tell which ones are which much easier with these new cards. New graphics, not really new layout, similar, you've got your top and the bottom of the card and so forth, but all kinds of new powerful spells here for sure. And I really like the artwork on these. They've really improved them. It does feel like a step up for the artwork, not just for these cards, not just for the schools of magic, but for the game in general. I really like the direction they're going. So I'm not going to talk through these different schools of magic, but let's jump to a little montage showing off some of the different cards and the artwork in general. Now let's take a closer look at these room tiles. Now there's some differences here from the original game, obviously. First off, the fact that the place has been destroyed and that nature has started to move in. I really like the artwork and what they've done here for sure. But on the broken side of the tile, you'll have the room name as well as the room's ability. Also below that, you'll have numbers. These are victory points. So there's a first, second, and third place for those. And as you fill up the cubes, the instability cubes on this tile, then once it's fully completed, then you're going to award different victory points based on who has the most, second, and third, so forth. And then you're going to flip the tile in the cleanup phase once those are full, and you'll look for the corresponding marker to put at the top. Now the thing is, once that happens, the room has been repaired, and you're going to be using it like you did before. So once that ability is used, you'll flip it over. Now let's take a closer look at the new power board. First thing you'll notice is that it goes to 35 instead of 30. As you move along this track, you're trying to get the most power points, obviously. And one of the main ways to get power points is attacking and destroying other mages. And if you're first doing the most damage to a mage, then you're going to get 4 points of power. Second, you're going to get 2. And third place, you're going to get 1. But if you did all the damage to one of the different types of mages or players, then you're going to get 5 points of power. So that's one of the main ways to move up this track. But you also have the Black Rose to contend with. They're going to be moving along this track as well. And if they get to 35 before you do, then none of you are worthy of the Black Rose. But also on this, you're going to have the different cards. And in this game, if you don't know about this game, there are different phases of the moon that are going to change out different decks, like the event deck and the quest deck. And based on what phase you're currently in will give you all different options. And events can be good, they can be bad, and trigger throughout the turn as long as they're in play. But the thing with the power is that what's really cool, what they've done is there's slots for the different phases of the moon. But as you get more familiar with the game, you can customize this, causing the different quests and different events to happen quicker or slower, whatever you want to do, however you want to lay it out. But it's really clever how they've done that, absolutely. Now, also on this board, you have your different cards. Like I said, first you have your quest cards, and then you have your evocation cards, you have your jinx cards, and upgrade cards. Yes, upgrade cards. One of the things I like about this new version of the game, this next chapter, is the fact that you can upgrade your evocation or the monsters that you have summoned out on the board. You can give them, like a +2 health, things like that. All kinds of different abilities and options in these upgrades. Really, really cool. Now, just a quick look at the new player boards. They feel more streamlined, more cleaned up, but everything's here that you would expect if you know the original game. And you're going to be placing spell cards on here in order to invoke them and play them later. And then you have your physical actions like moving around and so forth as you go after all the different mages on the board. Now, again, if you're new to this game, this is a deck builder. You're trying to get spells, powerful spells in your hand to invoke, to destroy your fellow players, and earn the right to lead the Black Rose. And as you destroy them, you're going to be getting those power points moving along the track and so forth. And what's really cool is that when you do damage to them, they don't mark it off as like health, but instead you put your cubes on their board, showing that you did the most damage and so forth. I really like that aspect of this game. It really plays well. It does feel like you're battling it out. It's that whole mage versus mage battle that you see in so many movies and so forth. But really some interesting new spells to be had in this game. And of course, whoever has the most power points at the end will be the ultimate mage and rule the Black Rose. Alright folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview, and everything you've seen here has been in prototype form. So keep a close eye on the campaign for any changes that still may occur. Now, with that said, yes, this is a prototype, but it's pretty near complete. I mean, this is a beautiful prototype, absolutely super well done. And the thing is that I did a lot of comparisons between the old and new, but the thing is, it's really just the next chapter. You don't have to know anything at all, nothing at all about the original game to jump into this new version. It is standalone, absolutely. They just give you the ability to mix in things from the previous game. And it definitely has a similar gameplay, obviously, but I really like some of the new aspects they've added here, especially like the enhancements to all the different creatures you can invoke and bring out into the battlefield. And just the new classes of spells. Oh my gosh, so really, really cool. But folks, ultimately, if this looks like something that would be of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it from me, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.